Ooh, I'm getting close here. Might have to scrape some up off that garbage bag on the floor. Um, but we sat there for a little bit and then ended up, this kid noticed us, younger. He's probably maybe in his 20s, maybe teens, late teens. He noticed us and started talking to us, and my husband is like bubbly as shit, and he's like, "Oh yeah, what's up, hey? Yeah, my wife's looking for like some like local art and stuff like that, local stuff, not the stuff that the tourist crap." And he's like, "Oh, you gotta come to my flea market." And it turns out he's got a booth at this flea market, and he's like, that's why he was out, was he was trying to lure the tourists into his um, flea market booth. And like the guy, he seemed very genuine, very sweet. He was actually being very protective of us. Um, because we had ran into the same bus dude person from before, and he actually told him off or whatever, and like wasn't mean about it but was very stern about it. And he's like, "Dude, just leave them alone." Like obviously in whatever accent they have, I can't do it. um And so then he took us to this booth in the flea market, and it was like tent city. They were all just what do you call it? They just looked like linen sheets, all set up in like lean-to tents, little lean-tos, and um they were really small but very deep. Like you can get in, but just get in. Like I'm 5'4", and like I had to lean down a little bit, but like I could go all the way in and be concealed in it. But it was only about, sorry, I just heard a weird noise. It was only about 3 foot wide. So like while we're in there looking at his stuff, like he really did like amazing wood carving that a lot of them did. Like there was some main artists that would carve them, and they were just the raw carvings of the different things, like the Scarlet Macaws masks and Jamaica signs and stuff like that. And then he would sell these unfinished to um, the different people, and they would turn around and put their own finish on it, whether they would just burn it and then like sand some of that burning off and then shellac them, or if they painted them, like they were a lot of the same statues and stuff, carvings, but each one of the artists was completely unique in handling it. And like some of his he were actually had worked on himself, and he had this one, it's a skull, and it's being held in a hand. And he had several of them up there, all different sizes. And they were the ones where he'd have some where it was just shellacked, just the natural wood color, and then shellacked. And then some he had burned parts of it and left like the skull burned, and then the hand, um, he had sanded that off and everything. But this one, he hadn't quite finished it yet. And it wasn't sealed or anything. It was just, he had just finished burning it, and was in the works of sanding some of the parts off, like the high spots off, to give it more depth. And just the way it looked, it was awesome, like completely unique. I'm scraping the bottom here. And my husband, like, he loved it. I'm like, yeah, like, if we're gonna get one, like, I haven't seen anything like that. I haven't seen any carvings of these skulls with the hands, and any other booths. And, like, he liked it. So, like, we ended up getting that. Well, while he's, like, paying for that, as soon as he did that, my husband made the mistake of pulling, like, the whole wad of money out. And I mean, it wasn't very much. It was probably like $150. And like that was the last of our money that we brought for the trip, because it was the last island. Oh, there's a big dry spot right there. But I had told him before, like, do not leave me. Don't be more than freaking 3 foot away from me. Just for safety reasons. And B, give me part of the money and you part of the money and keep it in separate pockets. Like leave some of it in your wallet, see some of it in your just in your pocket and stuff, and I'll do the same thing. And so we had partially did that, but he pulled out the whole wad and his wallet at the same time. So now we're in a 3-foot little cubby hole, and all these friggin' people just seen that he had a lot of cash. And obviously seen that he was like not smart enough to keep it concealed more. So then everybody started like, oh mom, why don't you come look at my stuff. And like, so as I'm trying to look in one booth, I have someone right here already trying to pull me into their booth, and then so on down the thing. So we're sitting here, and I'm holding on to this, the carved skull, almost like as if, like, you know, okay, if shit gets grim, like, I can use this thing as a weapon to defend myself. But like people started surrounding us, and it got very intense. And like I said, like there wasn't a lot of stuff. Like I didn't get to see very many booths, but I started having a panic attack because of all the people surrounding us and feeling very uncomfortable. And like it's starting to feel unsafe now because there were so many people, and we were not around like the security or anything like that. And like, I'm not stupid, okay? I know like that it was an impoverished area, and these people were just trying to make money. But I ended up getting very uncomfortable, and like people were like grabbing me by the arm, like, and not gently either, grabbing me by the arm and pulling them to my booth, to their booth, and then doing the same with my husband in the opposite direction. And like he ended up just like bulldozing through everybody to get to me, as this freaking dude and this freaking older lady are grabbing me to pull me around the corner into another booth, or what I believe like is what they were, what I hope that it was only what they were trying to do. And then he grabbed hold of my arm, and I was like, okay, we need to get the fuck out of here. And he was still like willing to give it a try and be like, well, you know, let's look at some other booths. I was like, no, like we need to get out of here. Like we need to go back like now. Like I do not feel comfortable. I'm in the middle of a panic attack. Like I do not feel good about this at all. So he's like, okay. As we're leaving, the little old lady that had grabbed my arm with the man trying to go around the corner, she looks at me, points at me, and then she's pointing at my thing, and I couldn't understand what she was saying because either she was talking in another language, or her accent was so thick, or I was just so completely overwhelmed that I was just like drawing a blank completely. But she's pointing, and then she spits at the ground, she spits at me, and it wasn't like hockaloogie spit, it was just a like that. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, okay, we need to go. So we left there, and we didn't even like go back to any of the other stores in the other section. We just like hightailed it back towards the boats. And lo and behold, my husband, he's like, no, I want to get some braids in my hair. So he sees another lady that's cheaper. Remember the first lady, the first lady with the braids in her hair, trying to get me to do braids. He sees this other lady, and she's cheaper. And so he's like, oh, you know, I just want to get a couple braids with some beads on the end, you know, it'll be funny. I'm like, all right, whatever. And I should probably, hold on a second. I was like, whatever. So he does it, and he tells her, he's like, okay, I just want like 2 braids right here. Just some string braids with a couple of like, you know, the classic red, yellow, and green beads on it. Hopefully that stays up. And just so that like for picture wise, you know, we had like, yeah, we were definitely in Jamaica that day. So, he did that, and then he talked me into it too, and he's like, just do, like, just a couple. I was like, all right. Well, my hair was in French braided pigtails, so I had to take one out, And then because of that, she wanted to take the other one out. And next thing I know, she's like brushing through all my hair, and they're like tag team 3 people all around me trying to section my hair off to do my entire head in cornrows. And I'm like, whoa, no, 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 no. Like, it's one of those situations where it's like you get into a spot where like you think you're getting one thing done, and then they do another thing real quick before you even realize it, and then you're like, no, we did the work, you pay for it. Well, at this point, like, they'd already done like 3 little braids on the one side, and they had started to do some braids on this side, and I stopped. I was like, no, I only wanted the 3 braids. Like, I don't want my entire head. I'm not here. Like, I have to get back to the ship. Like, we have to get back soon, and this is not coming off. So like, she got kind of upset with me. We paid her. We even tipped her a little bit extra for the freaking extra braids that she started putting in my hair but didn't rubber band off because I wouldn't let her. And we went on our way. At this point, I am trudging on a mission, straight line, to get back to the freaking ship. My husband is not keeping up with me. He's sipping on his Red Stripe because they're cheaper off the boat than any alcohol on the boat. Obviously, you know that. So he was enjoying himself there. And everybody that's stopping, they're like, oh, no, talk to her. And everybody's following a crowd in between us. Boss lady! Oh, boss lady! And then I come up to the lady with the braids from the original one. She walks over to me and isn't friendly at all. She literally grabs hold of the braids in my hair and like, oh, I thought you didn't want braids, huh? Like, mom, whatever they say. I think it sounds more like mom. And I was like, I'm so sorry, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, like this. I'm like, oh, goodness. Like, Chad, we need to go. Pardon me. And so we left, and yeah, went back on the ship, and I had like a little bit more of a panic attack there. And like, when we got on the ship and like they were embarking or whatever they call it, leaving the island, we literally watched all the people that were crippled and in wheelchairs that were sitting all along the side of the road as you walk to the tourist area. We watched them one by one get up and walk away. Like, they're gone now, whatever. And I'm just like, all right. And there was another couple that were on the ship already. Like, we seen them. They were standing on the dock watching everybody walk back in. And like, we seen they didn't even get off the ship. And when we were standing there with them, we started talking. And they're like, yeah, no, like, they've been on that cruise like 6 times. And they realized after the first time that they weren't going to bother getting off the ship in Jamaica anymore. And each time they've been on the cruise, some of them have been to the same islands, some of them have been to the other islands and Jamaica too. But they're like, yeah, no, like, it just didn't work out. They didn't like it. I'm dying on my phone. Pardon me. They didn't like it, so that they just enjoyed that day on the ship, relaxing before, because it's the last day of the trip. And she said she had a lot of the same problems. She was not comfortable with it and just felt completely overwhelmed. And then she told me horror stories of like the guys trying to get you on the party buses. Yeah, no, they talk about how they have like their island parties and stuff, that they're not touristy, that they're like the island parties. Well, and that's to entice these stupid people. And then they turn around and take you off out into the middle of nowhere, either beat the shit out of you and rob you. Some of them just rob you. They don't get violent. But they rob you and either leave you there or dump you back somewhere else in the other part of town. And like, she's like, it's very real. I'm like, I believe it. And this is not coming off. And so, yeah, no. They had also said that they stayed there once beforehand in one of the all-inclusive resorts, to where, like, you know, you fly in, you're at Jamaica on the island, staying in a place there, and then you have people that like drive you around. You're not just walking aimlessly around wherever. Like, you have people that will take you to the shopping centers and stuff to kind of watch out for you. She said that that experience was completely different. That, like, one of the days when she was actually out with the resort, they know you're not from there, but they don't know, like, how long you've been there, like if you actually just moved there or whatever. So they, for the most part, leave you alone. But she said that one of the days she was there, she was out shopping, and all of a sudden she noticed the cruise ship pull into port. And then she said, sure enough, she's seen all the people lining up down all along the road, along the way, to beg for money. And they said it's just, some people just do that. That's how they make their money, is making the tourists feel sorry for them. And they know that they've got money because they're on a vacation. And they'll either take advantage or they'll just see if you feel sorry enough to help them. Ooh. Wasn't expecting it to die that. Oopsie. Oh well. Well, I'm going to see, hopefully I can pause this, because, I mean, you've waited that long, an hour and 23 minutes. Wow. I'm going to see if it has a pause feature. If I can pause this and then just continue it in a minute. After I've let this sit for a minute, go smoke a cigarette, pee, because I'm not going to let you guys join me for that, okay? That's just creepy, weird. And then I will come back after I've obviously washed it all out so we can see how it turns out. Or doesn't. Whatever. Maybe I'll shave my head. I'm not shaving my head. I'm just kidding. Alright, I'm going to clean this up. Get this ready. Hopefully this all works out. If it doesn't, then I will see you in the next video. And I will probably just do a second video then if this doesn't. Let me continue. We'll just do a second video of the after fix. All right, I'll see you guys. All right, I'm back. Yeah, so I cleaned up, washed this out, started brushing it out a little bit. It still needs a lot more brushing. That took way longer than I anticipated, and I have to leave in like 5 minutes to go pick my daughter up from school. So there will be a second video after this is dry, and explaining that. Cleaned everything up as usual with the splat. When my hair is wet, no matter how much I towel dry it, it still starts draining down, and then I rinsed it till it was clear, good and clear, and dried it. Nothing came off on the towel. But now, as I've been brushing it, I've been splattering a watered down purple everywhere. I was trying to hurry up and clean up the purple off of my neck and my face here. And stupid me, user error, warning. I used the magic eraser that I was using to clean up everything. Because it was like real quick. I was like, okay, yeah, I know this is the equivalent of like fine grit sandpaper. Don't do that on your skin. It works. It gets it off really fast. But just one swipe of that shit and yeah. Microdermabrasion ain't got crap on that. So now my skin is like burns. There. Neck over here. It burns like a sunburn. I put some coconut oil on it. And I had to put coconut oil in my hair too. Because, yeah, when I said that was like deep conditioning my hair. Yeah, no, that was crap conditioner to begin with. And so silly me, no matter how long you leave it in your hair, it didn't do anything. So I had to put some more coconut oil in my hair for that. My hair feels like straw, like I just got done bleaching and dyeing it with a box dye. So yeah, I don't have time to dry it right now, so I'm just gonna have to take the towel with me while I'm in line, go doop doop doop, to make sure I don't get it anywhere. I had to change my shirt so that the purple wasn't getting all over my car. I'm gonna take my towel cape with me. This is my junk drying towel. It did my scalp. From what I see so far, it didn't do crap to the ginger on the top of my head. That sucks. I'll figure that out later. The ends so far, they look like they are tinted. There's some spots that don't look like they did much. But yeah, I will update you guys after this finishes drying. I will air dry it this time, seeing how I don't have time to dry it right now. So I'm going to air dry it. If I come back and it's still quite wet and I want to hurry up and get this crap over with, then I will probably stick the diffuser on it for a little bit. But yeah, so don't use a magic eraser. Don't rely on a box dye to fix your mistakes up here. Well, at least mixed with a lot of conditioner. By itself, it probably would have done something other than dye your scalp. But yeah, so I'm gonna go pick up my daughter and then I will be back. But for now, I'm gonna stop this because an hour and a half is long enough for a video. Wow. Sorry. Hopefully I kept that interesting in there with my ramblings about different whatnots and all the other stuff. But, oh man, my hair feels awful. Awful. All right. Well, see you guys in the next video. Bye.